Well, if you listen carefully, you might hear the faint sounds of a marching band somewhere in the background, the smell of brats on the grill. It is football season, and I know so many people are excited for that, me included. At time of this recording, my Nebraska Cornhuskers won their first game of the season last night, so we're celebrating in my house. I'm in a better mood than I would be otherwise if that didn't go well. But for this DTNsights, I am really excited to have Grant Davisson, the director of turf for the Minnesota Vikings, and sporting the logo today, Grant.
Yeah.
Really excited to have you on with us today.
Do you know what the N stands for on a Nebraska helmet?
I'm told knowledge.
It's knowledge, yeah. I
Yeah.
went to see you.
Awesome. Well,
I didn't know that you went to Nebraska, so
I live in Lincoln, Nebraska.
I would have not have done this
Well, that's very fair.
had I known.
That's very fair. We won't bring up last year's game, nor can we bring up the one before. We'll just call it a truce.
I apologize. Yeah.
On the Buffalo Huskers talk, but
yeah,
we're excited to talk about turf today. Grant, you've got a cool job in the turf world, working with the Vikings, and all that comes with it. Would love to sort of start how you got into that world. What drove you in that direction, and kind of. You mentioned going to CU, but how you sort of ended up with the Vikings.
I've always been in the green industry. I've always enjoyed doing that work. Golf course, of course, baseball diamonds. And then I grew up in Colorado, Kansas and Colorado. And I wanted to change. I went to CU Denver, and I just kind of wanted to change in life. And I saw the Metrodome was hiring. And I did have painting experience and I had field experience. And so I applied there and I got the job and I moved up, and that was in 2001.
Awesome.
So I had some other odd jobs also at the same time. So it was kind of like I was doing a lot of stuff, nothing related to my schooling, and just kind of doing more experiences than
Sure.
more new experiences than I am in practicality stuff. So
love it. So yeah. Yeah, tell
24
us,
years, 25th season.
Amazing. For those that are unfamiliar with what kind of things your role gets into, most people are going to just assume I deal with grass, right? Or I deal with turf or whatever that is. I know I've had the pleasure working with a lot of and getting to know as friends, golf course superintendents and sports turf directors at universities, and so it's a really intense, complicated job. So what all does that entail for you?
It's all encompassing. Obviously, like here, well, we have TCO Performance Center, which is our practice facility. We do have 10 acres of natural grass practice fields that just the NFL team is on. And then we also have TCO Stadium, which is like a 7,000 seat stadium. And that's booked. I think the goal is like 300 events a year.
Wow.
And that's all outdoors. And so obviously weather gets involved with that. So we do that. And then we have oversight of US Bank Stadium on game days and for the game field.
Sure. So and US Bank is like a field turf material.
Yeah, that's at Global. It's an artificial. So
yeah.
So we kind of look over 3 artificial surfaces and then about 10 acres of natural.
Unbelievable.
And then every event that's around there. So
yeah, so there's not an off season for you per se.
No, it's it is like it's nice when the regular season starts because we kind of have structure and we have a regular schedule. But I would say like May through now is a very busy time for us. And then the season, of course, is busy, but it's more rewarding.
Kind of all range of event types at those different places.
Yep. So we'll do like this year. We've had World Rugby. We have women's soccer. We had PLL, so Premier Lacrosse League. We had a college game, football game last night, and we have high school football tonight.
Wow.
So, and then the winter they do like a carnival, and so they had like the world's largest ice maze last winter.
Unbelievable.
They do ice rinks. We don't really deal with the ice rinks, but there's ice rinks and sheets for curling and everything.
Sure. So
that's a lot.
Being in a northern climate then here in the United States, I find the discussion, you hear a lot of discussion about sort of from a safety perspective on the field, the debate of like field turf, not that it, or astroturf or whatever kind of turf field artificial you want to,
Artificial service. Yeah.
right? When you think about artificial, people think that's easier. It's not necessarily easier. It's a different sort of maintenance.
No,
But
absolutely not. It's not
from
easier.
from a safety perspective, I'm curious, given your background, like, do you see a true difference in the artificial surface versus like natural turf in terms of safety for performers?
I think in fatigue, there's more fatigue on an artificial surface. I
Yeah,
think safety wise, you're looking, if it's done right, which we do it right, it is a consistent field all throughout. So safe, we are very safe. We are very playable and we test everything so that we know that it is safe. But I do think fatigue is different on artificial.
sure. Yeah,
Also because of weather, because it's really hot. If it's really hot out, that field will be 140 degrees. Um, and then it's a different experience on the joints, so it hits differently and everything. So
yeah,
completely different. Yeah.
yeah. Not to mention those damn little rubber pellets that get in
Yeah.
everything
The
that you
goal is to
just saw,
not
right?
have flyaway infill.
Yeah,
I think that's something I focus on a lot. Is we kind of flip the script on how we manage infill so that we don't get infill migrating into your shoes and stuff. So,
sure. Yeah. Quite an amazing science. So what's the turf types that you primarily work with? Is it same across all 10 acres, or are you
yeah, we're 100% Kentucky bluegrass. We have 4 different varieties in there. Um, and then we overseed with the same bluegrass that we
sure?
sodded with. And the sod came from grass turf in Colorado.
Yeah.
And so I've worked with them for a while, and now I don't know, we'll probably use them next year for more stuff. So
Yeah. In terms of, so let's take the Minnesota Vikings specifically perspective,
yeah.
right? They're playing on, I imagine, different variants of Bermuda throughout the year. There's
Mhm.
probably some overseeded rye that ends up in
Yeah.
places. There's truly different grass types. Is there a pressure on you and your team to try and simulate the environment that the players are going to play on throughout the year? Or is everybody easily to adjust to whatever they
We
roll up on
can
Sunday?
we can pretty much simulate what they're going to be on. There's not a bad field in the NFL now. Um, but we do have full heat in one square, so 2 fields is heated. And so we can go outside and play in pretty much any environment and not have to worry about field safety because the field will be soft and ready to go, not frozen. We can also, with our outdoor stadium, if we want to practice or kick or anything on artificial, we can kick on an artificial field or practice on an artificial field. So Bermuda is hard to do because we don't have any Bermuda,
Sure.
but we have a pretty tight field, so it does a pretty good job.
Yeah. So we were
I
saying
think the
before,
old way of I think people like used to do that to like try to get into people's heads, but it never really affected, the
right.
play. So
Well, if you're
hold
an
on
idiot like
still.
me running around it, that doesn't matter. It just
Wow,
those
I've
guys aren't.
never run on a field. So
There's yeah, yeah, that's besides the point.
yeah, I don't
So
need to pull a hamstring.
that's right. You can do that getting out of bed at this age.
Yeah, that's true.
So we before we started recording, we were talking. You just went to Dublin, so you've got the team flies over to Dublin later this season
Yeah.
for a game.
Yep.
So what's that experience like in terms of your role and how you go check out the other field that you'll be playing on
Yeah.
down the road?
So we do the advance. This will be our 5th time in Europe or the UK, even though Ireland's not, or the UK. So it'll be Ireland, fly out early for Ireland, do the advance on it. Just make sure the field's tested, make sure the field's safe, make sure the markings are what we need. Every team's a little different on what paint you want on the field and what markings you want on the field. So we do that. We work in alliance with the NFL. The NFL does have a crew that goes out also. And so we just tell them what we want and then hopefully achieve that. And then after Ireland, we fly to London and we're in London for a week also.
Okay.
So it goes from, was it Croke Stadium in Ireland to Tottenham, in
Amazing.
London. I don't know. So yeah, it's a lot. It's
So
a lot of
there's
stuff. Like we ship stuff over way in advance and just get everything ready in advance. So
yeah.
no
What
surprises.
what's the game day or game week experience for you? I know painting fields is it's quite a task. It's
It
not
is.
just you roll out there with a can of paint and it
Yeah.
shows up. There's a very detailed sort of
Yeah.
set that goes in. What's that experience like?
So like for practice fields, we do have we typically have 3 fields going at one time. And that's about 3 hours of painting. We have really good painters. We're also lucky we're in Minnesota, so like Graco's in our backyard, and Graco makes the painters. Not a plug for Graco, but they're here anyway. I guess DTN's in our backyard also. Um,
Amen.
but we use a lot of Graco painters. We use world-class paint. We use really good paint that stays, and it's going to be there. We know it's not going to go away with the rain and stuff like that. For game day, normally game day prep starts on a Wednesday when I walk the field with my ops manager at the stadium, and we go over what we need to paint, everything that needs to be done, and then I'm there every day. And then game day, we start a little early, just to make sure all the sidelines are set up, make sure all the paint's correct, and all that. And then my guys run the nets also during the games, and I just kind of walk around. So
Sure. So
it's
let's
fun. You got
chat.
to get your steps in.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. We
yeah,
call that exercise.
is it
Yeah, well, we'll count
okay?
it as it.
I'm
Absolutely.
learning a lot on this.
Yeah. You're learning how I count
I
exercise with
am. I
just some
like it.
steps. Yeah, it's not a bad method. So
No,
let's chat about weather in your world. So weather can probably be a blessing and a curse from time to time, depending on weather patterns. What's some of the unique ways that you leverage weather information in your
it's how
job?
I start my day and it's how I end my day. It plans everything like culturally, what we're going to do on a field, mechanically, what we're going to do on a field. I mean, just in that, I mean, we're 100% dependent on weather. So with frost is always a big issue. I mean, that's coming up. That's like 2 weeks from now. We have
Yep.
to start worrying about frost, and then you can't be on the field until 10 o'clock. So you got to worry about that. Snow is pretty, I'm not going to, snow is kind of an issue, but we do have a heated field. It's not a snow melt system, but it allows it to stay thawed and allows us to plow it. And so it's a lot of scheduling. It's a lot of, what are we going to do with all this snow? And then when is it going to snow? Are we going to be able to have practice? Stuff like that. And
Sure.
rain, thunderstorms. We have, as I said, so many events in TCO Stadium. So like this year we did get, what is it? The DTN Siren. I don't know what that's
On
called.
guard.
On guard, we got that just to kind of take out guessing work on there. Like when people are out on the field, um, then they know that if they hear the siren, there's lightning or a tornado within 8 miles. So
No choice.
they need to
Right.
get the hell out of there. Yeah.
That's right.
So we do that. And then like the team with practice, I mean, at 6:15, I check the weather, and we, as a group with like football ops, we kind of collaborate on what we're going to do. Are we going to move practice around, or where are we going to have practice, basically? And
Sure.
then I normally do, if I'm concerned about it, what's that thing? There's a thing on the app where I can do a consultation. And
Yes,
so I
to
really
speak with
just
the
do that.
meteorologist. Yeah.
Yeah. And like, I think so many people think they're meteorologists. You know what I mean? So many people like, oh, look where that front is. Look how it's breaking. It's better to just talk to a meteorologist, because none of us have the training that they do. And that's what they're paid to do. So
How have you found? I mean,
amateur.
well, and I imagine your crew. I mean, it's just a reality. There's a lot of ways to get some kind of weather information, whether it's
Yeah.
an app and you get a forecast. You can watch your local
How
TV.
em how embarrassing if someone shows you, like, some cheap app. You know what I mean? Because it's
Well,
just bought data.
yeah. Um, And I'm a meteorologist, and so even
Yeah.
then they're like, "Look, when I was younger, coming up, my dad used to call me and say, 'Hey, I saw in the newspaper that your forecast.'" I'm like, "Dad, I literally you helped me pay for the schooling of this
That's fantastic.
meteorologist. Like, I trust me a little bit here, but yeah, there's that element. So I imagine, you know, having DTN or having sort of that source of truth for you
Oh,
that you can be like, I know you saw this, but this is how we're going to roll. That has to make a
yeah,
difference.
absolutely. And you got to trust the meteorologists. They're the scientists that know this stuff. So, and just go with it.
Yeah.
And I think forecasting weather is so difficult because, so many people have opinions like it only snowed 4 inches. It was supposed to snow 8 inches, but like 20 miles away, it did get 8 inches. I think we are really like, do we really think a meteorologist can pinpoint exactly where like 8 inches of snow is going to land? And don't you think like a 20-mile area is actually a pretty good forecast? So
It's
I
pretty
think we're expecting too much.
sure. It's hard.
We have unreal expectations.
And especially in the scenario you described, what most people don't realize is an inch of snow is essentially like you wouldn't if that fell as rain, you'd have no idea the concept of the difference in the amount of
Yeah,
liquid that is, right?
absolutely. Yeah,
But it sort of piles up and it makes the error seem really dramatic when in
yeah.
reality it's not that far off.
And
The
moisture
difference,
levels, it's nothing.
that's right. You melt that down and it's truly like a tenth of an inch of difference
Yeah,
of liquid, and that on a rain day that doesn't matter too much. Now you're dealing with a baseball field, that's a different story because you're
yeah,
dealing with dirt, but
yeah,
in a
absolutely.
in a grass scenario, there's quite a bit difference. How big is a crew like on a given day versus say a game day? Do you have sort of different size crews working?
We run about five or six.
Five
So
crews,
no, 5 people,
five
5 or 6
people.
people. So
Gotcha.
yeah,
Yeah, that's
we're a tight knit group. Like our shortest tenured guy is like 6 years.
wow.
So three of them are over 10 years. So we all work together.
Family.
Yeah.
How has automation changed in your world? I'm curious. Do you have the automatic paint
No, I
lines
don't
now
like
or do
those.
everything by hand?
I don't trust those yet. I don't want to get in trouble, but I've seen issues where it doesn't work.
Hmm.
And I don't want to have to explain that to my boss or coach.
Sure.
I'd much rather a human does it. Also, we've done it for years, and I do think I think there's a lack of art in life, and I think painting is still an art. Still, you still get to practice that here.
Sure.
So I don't
There
know. Automation is good, also, I guess, but it doesn't seem worth it for me.
there is we actually deal with that in meteorology. Like it's amazing the horsepower and computation and AI and DTN
Mhm.
utilizes a ton of that. At the end of the day, though, when there's a major decision, there's something comforting about the human having looked at it and making an
Yeah,
assessment where you have this historical knowledge.
yeah.
Like you probably know every blade of grass that's on all 10 acres of that property and how that flows together.
Some of them, yeah.
Yeah. Some of them,
I
yeah.
don't.
Most of the blades, right?
Most of the blades, yeah. I haven't really,
That's
but no,
awesome.
no, you're absolutely right. So
Yeah. Well, when we do DTNsights, we like to do something we call heat bursts, just kind of some fun questions to sort of round out the
sounds great.
conversation. But so you said you got to go to Dublin. What's
Mhm.
your favorite sort of trip that this job has taken you on so far?
Um, obviously like going to London for games is good, but I like going to other stadiums that I know the people and then they give us tours.
Yeah.
So I would say that's more rewarding.
Yeah, that's
But
great.
Wembley was pretty awesome.
I can only
So
imagine. I've not been there. That's a place that I would love to visit someday.
pretty
Um,
cool.
yeah, that's great. What's the best sporting event you've got to see in person as a result of your job?
I saw the Minneapolis Miracle, but I also saw a triple play once at a Rockies game,
Really?
and that was pretty awesome. That was That was mind blowing.
Yeah,
So, I know that's weird, isn't it?
no, it's not though. I mean, how rare is that, right? It's a
Yeah,
really
it's
rare
not
thing.
not often.
The
That and the
digs,
Minneapolis
the digs
Miracle,
play
very
pretty cool
similar.
too, and no
Yeah.
doubt about it. Biggest event that you've prepared a field for?
Super Bowl.
Super Bowl. What kind of
Yeah.
pressure got ramped up as a result of that?
It's a lot. It's a big group. I mean, at the time it was different leadership and stuff, but it's a lot of people. So, and
You know, dealing
it's handled really well.
dealing with concerts, and I mean,
Yeah, stuff like
that's
that.
like 30 events rolled into about
Yeah.
5 hours, I imagine.
More rewarding was Pro Bowl. I used to do Pro Bowl or did Pro Bowl at Aloha Stadium. And that was more rewarding because it was just like not many of us there and it was a lot more fun.
Yeah,
So
Hawaii.
yeah, but I mean still like it was like you were working 12, 14 hours a day and then just having dinner and going to bed. So
Yeah,
but it was
nothing.
fun work. It was like we were on an Air Force base and we did a field on an Air Force base. That was really cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So
All right, craziest weather event you've experienced?
as a kid, we had a barn get hit by a tornado.
Did you see the tornado?
No, we were in the cellar.
Okay. Well,
So I've always
well
had a
done.
healthy respect. I still remember how it sounded,
Yeah, yeah. They
and I
say
remember what the skies look like.
and the common phrase is some will tell you it's like sounds like a powerful waterfall or a
Yeah,
train, right? But
I re-
to be clear, it's
you
not the
know,
horn of the train. It's
um,
the rumbling.
yeah, and it was I guess it'd be like 2 blocks away, but I remember the pressure. I still feel like I can remember how it felt like in my chest because the pressure changed. It was very weird.
Yeah.
So
Okay, final one here. For all of your travels and experiences, what's the if you said, Renny, you got to go try a meal at this place. I was on the road and I found like the best meal ever.
mm,
Is there one that just you're like, gosh, that was unreal?
yeah, I went to Villa Mahana and Bora Bora.
Okay,
It was the best meal I've ever had, and
no
it
kidding.
was an amazing experience.
That's
I
awesome.
recommend it. Yeah, it was like 4 tables. What's the artist Galgan? I think he lived there. It was his home. So, but obviously he was dead. It was a
And
great meal. It was very romantic, and I was with my
fish,
wife also. That made it better. So,
I would hope, speaking of
yeah,
romance, that if it was just with
yeah,
a buddy, that might be a little weird.
yeah. I know. I'm sure, but my friends, we would have enjoyed it either way.
Yeah,
No, it was.
like,
I would say that was it.
yeah, that's great.
There's a
Well,
little plug for Villa Mahana.
okay, I promise you,
Yeah,
I will Google when we're done because that sounds really interesting.
it's
Um,
crazy good.
well, we appreciate you as a customer and for having real respect for weather because
Yeah,
it's we know that it's like it's a variable that absolutely
yeah,
dictates either the way your day goes or how successful the setup is. Um, Also, very much appreciate you joining us on DTN
yeah,
sites, and I hope this is a great season for the Vikings.
yeah,
And I hope those international travels go well as well.
yeah. We'll see. And
Awesome.
DTNsights is my favorite video podcast.
It
I
and
can't
it
wait
should
to watch it.
and it should be. We should plug it
Yeah,
everywhere.
I can't wait. Send me some
Awesome.
stickers.
I will. Your background. We'll set up your background so that it's a walking advertisement.
I can't wait. Thank you.
Awesome. Grant, thank you
All right,
so much. We really appreciate your time.
all right. We'll talk.